basically we said our first big battle in London, in the streets of London, actually in the Strand, specifically in the vicinity of the Church of St. Mary le Strand. Church of St. Mary le Strand was built to replace a medieval parish that was pulled down in 1594 to make room for Somerset House. Charles Dickens actually has a very close connection to this particular church. According to the church registers, his parents, John and Elizabeth, were married here on June 13th, 1809. So this place is steeped in history. These days, the Church of St. Mary le Strand has become the official church for the Wrens, the Women's Royal Naval Service. During World War II, when London was heavily bombed by the Germans, this church was left undamaged. And sadly, it fell into disrepair afterwards, and it was only the campaign by poet laureate Sir John Betjeman that brought it back to its original glory. When Queen Anne died in 1714, they were going to erect a giant column in her honor with a big statue of her on top, but that kind of fell apart, and instead St. Mary's got a steeple. So I think St. Mary's got the better end of that deal. This church was designed by the architect James Gibbs, and it was built between 1714 and 1717. So it took 3 years to build this absolutely gorgeous paean to God. We actually chose this church just because, from pictures, it's a beautiful church, and you can imagine all kinds of craziness happening around it. Just the way it's set up, it's kind of in its own little island, sort of its own little place. So it just was kind of cool to imagine scary things running around it and trying to take over the world in the presence of God, sort of. We decided to use Waterloo Bridge as one of our scene pieces because we decided we were going to have this giant worm thing, kind of serpent, coming out of the Thames, and Waterloo seemed like the perfect place to have a battle with the giant worm serpent creature thing. The bridge itself was built between 1811 and 1817, and was built by an architect who was actually an architect that created a lot of the celebrated docks in England. The Prince Regent ordered the bridge's construction because he wanted to commemorate the second anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo. And actually the bridge was called the Strand Bridge until about 1816. They said that the bridge itself cost over £1 million to build, and it's got 9 elliptical arches that each span about 120 feet. And it was 35 feet high when it was originally built, and it's supported on piers 20 feet wide. It was actually considered dangerous after 1923 because 2 of the piers shifted, and they actually built a temporary crossing until they rebuilt the bridge in 1942, and it wasn't officially opened until 1945. Fun fact about the bridge? There are explosive chambers built into them in case they needed to blow up the bridge during World War II. So I'd be careful when I crossed it. We have our really big battle, the end battle here at Euston Station. I'm not quite sure why we chose it, but we did. Mainly we chose it because of the arch, which was built in 1837 and was made completely out of granite. And it no longer is here because a bunch of guys that dismantled it to make way for some renovations to the Euston Station that never actually happened, dismantled it and took it to use to stone their garden. So So the mighty Euston Arch is no longer, and this is all that's left. These little buildings, one of which is now a ladies-only bar called the Glass Bar. So the arch was around for 125 years, and it's sad that it's no longer here, because it really was a historic site that a lot of people, you know, came to see the mighty symbol that was built for the glory of railway travel.